ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, podcast
Ooh.
fans of all ages. I'm Dave Valente. Thank you for joining us on the Political Deep Dive. Joined by the lady in black at this point, AJ. AJ, how are you doing?
Well, I mean, I'm okay. How many fingers am I holding up?
6.
Probably just the one. The one in the middle. It's my favorite.
It's the favorite one. Yeah.
Can you
And
see me?
this week we are talking about AI data centers. Uh, so joining us this week are Kai Sage from, she's in Texas right now, but in McMinnville, Tennessee, as well as Lilia Jensen, two people who are fighting against a local uh, data center that's going up in McMinnville. This is actually a story that we have dealt with quite a bit. We've done shows on artificial intelligence. We've talked about on our free for all Sunday shows about AI and the data centers in West Virginia, where I'm at. We are about to get a 1.9 million square foot data center dropped into our backyard with no control. It is it's rough. I mean, we essentially what happened. I'll give you the story of what has happened in West Virginia, and we'll talk about what's going on down in Tennessee. But in West Virginia in 2025, there was a rush to. If you want to back out and come back in, I'll definitely let y'all back in if you want to hop out. But in 2025, there was a rush to do what is called a microgrid bill in West Virginia. House Bill 2024, I think, was the name of the number on the bill, and that was passed essentially with support from the entire state. Now, the legislature in the state of West Virginia is very heavily Republican. Only a handful of Democrats, but even some Democrats supported the bill as it was passed. Basically sold as preparing the state for better communications, better power, better things like that. But within the layers of the bill was the ability to create data centers without any local control. No counties would have any say on it. The reasoning that was given was they didn't want data centers having to go through 55 different counties regulations to get set up. Not let's not ignore the fact that Food Lion has to deal with 55 counties in West Virginia's regulations. Planet Fitness has to deal with 55 counties regulations. It is a very rough it was a very rough bill. And then this year, in February, right after the filing deadline for running in the 2026 election, Governor Patrick Morrisey, or as I call him, Weasel McFuckface, announced a 1.9 million square foot data center that was being plopped down in the middle of the county that I live in, actually about 5 miles from where I live at this point, and we have no say at all. I'm assuming this is the same issue that you're having in Tennessee. Would that be correct?
Kind of. So a lot of people actually don't know what's going on. None of our local government knew, or let me rephrase that. None of our local government that we've talked to knew about this project until I started emailing, calling, and encouraging and posting on Facebook for others to do the same. It was last weekend in one of my many group chats with other members of my community. Somebody had posted the Hickson AI data center website and said, "Hey, does about this?" And nobody knew anything about it. And so me and my husband started looking at it. I posted on our local community page asking if anyone knew about it. Nobody knew about it, and it kind of blew up from there, and there was a call for a dedicated space, so we created a dedicated page on Facebook for our community to talk about it. I started encouraging everyone to reach out to both our county commissioners and our city officials as well. And there's been a lot of discussion and a lot happening since then.
Yeah, and I put up in the corner if you're watching this show, and there's Kai. Awesome. Hey, Kai. The QR code up the top is to the Facebook page for Warn Against AI Data Centers. Go check that out. There are this is not just a West Virginia issue. This is not just a Tennessee issue. We're hearing, Hody Johns dropped that it's going in next to by the Salt Lake in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
This is a national issue that many towns, many localities are fighting. So you started a Facebook page. What other things are you doing to organize in your local community against data centers?
So we had another community member start our change.org petition, pushing for a temporary 12-month moratorium. That allows us time to do research and do studies and do rezoning. It's not going to be an outright ban because that's possible, but while pausing everything and being able to do the research, we're able to make it hard and more unappealing for AI data centers to want to come to McMinnville and Warren County.
Yeah.
I've also been sharing to not just Facebook, but also Instagram and TikTok on the regular to update everyone as things are going on. And it seems that it has organized quite a lot of people via all of the platforms.
I've put up another QR code, so I'll be alternating those out, and I'll be adding the to the chat the websites. But that QR code will take you to the change.org petition for McMinnville. I think that's where, when it came to the data center issue, because I'm not inherently against AI or advancing technology. For me, when this stuff happened, I think it was the lack of transparency in the process. It was all of a sudden February rolls around and Patrick Morrissey's got and our local politicians said the same thing here. We didn't know a thing about this until it happened. Well, they were down there in Charleston when the announcement was made, and we're sure that a lot of people have been forced to sign NDAs to keep this on the down low and remove all the transparency. But yeah, we it's the lack of transparency, the lack of a say in what goes into our Davy Jones, who's a local here, great guy. It is backdoor dealings. It is I say Georgia old boy network because I used to live in Georgia, but West Virginia old boy network that is essentially laying out our future for us without any say from us about what we need locally. And the issues, I know that there are several just issues that you had talked about. Let's get a study together before you start investing all this money into data centers. There's energy bills, like how are we going to power this, and that added strain on our local power company. How is that going to distribute it amongst everybody here in the local area and wherever you're at? Water is a huge issue, not just for Tennessee, and Tennessee's got pretty good number of water resources, but still, it's you don't really want to mess with your local water supply.
Well, you'd think that, but we have the resources and the electrical and whatnot. Y'all have, did I not just say Tennessee Valley Authority put out a notice that they're going to talk about looking at new rates for Tennesseans? I work as a case manager, actually, and I have already seen firsthand what this is doing to people that are on a restricted income, limited income, retired, however you want to put it. I deal with retired and disabled Americans, and that is who I try to help. And so many of them went from having, 35 years of a $28 water bill And if you know anyone over the age of 65, you know that that's possible. They actually do watch and pay attention. They do everything they can to
Yeah.
save for that $28 water bill because that's what it's going to be until it's $228 or $278. It's quadrupled. Now they had already they lived there for 35 years. The only thing that changed was the data center down the road that they knew nothing about because whose grandparents does. And I just Googled it. I literally was like, okay, well, let's see what maybe. And I just put in the zip code, and that was the data center down the road. Now that's Texas. And you said this earlier, Dave, where they were looking at putting all the data centers in the way out west. It's funny. Um, I moved from Tennessee out here, and yeah, fire's a big danger. Are they fireproof? Are the data centers fireproof? Because if we're not going to have any
Generate.
water to put out the fire,
Yeah, well,
I'm
they
just
generate a
saying.
massive amount of heat. And that's why, the water is necessary is because they gotta cool
Mhm,
these things down, and liquid cooling is how they achieve that.
mhm,
But, yeah, you use all the water to, we talked about out west, there have been stories about the Ogallala Aquifer, which is basically runs down the center of the country, and it waters most of our agriculture in the United States, our central breadbasket agriculture. That's been going down for years, just
mhm,
with the normal irrigation. There have been concerns about it, but now with the data centers coming online, that is on steroids, the depletion. But talk about so your focus is to get a 1 year moratorium and for study on the impacts. I know that Tennessee has a couple of data centers already. One in Memphis that has been
We
rather
have
notorious.
60 that are being either built or are being built. So a total of
60
60.
and
60.
wow. That's crazy. Um, so talk about some of the effects that we've already been seeing from data centers that give you concern.
Actually, I feel
I
like
mean,
Lilia, you have a great point about the fires in particular that you should share.
okay.
oh, Danger Jones.
So part of when I started all of this, I've shared it with Kai. I kind of wrote a little research paper because I was asked by one of our local news to write an article, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole and did a research of everything. And part of, at least for the AI data center that's being proposed in our city of McMinnville, uses a BESS system. Do you guys know what BESS is?
No.
It's battery energy storage systems. And a prime example, have you guys heard of the Moss Landing fire in California in 2025?
Is that the one that hit Pacific Palisades?
I don't know that part of it, but it's basically a battery storage facility in Moss Landing caught on fire. And they had to evacuate everyone around them. And it actually recaught on fire. So that fire started in January. In February, they had to go back because it started again. Um, so I think if I remember correctly, it was like a total of like 33 or 35 days
It was
that
awesome.
this went on. Uh, because it kept going. Because you can't just use water for these systems. You have to have special containment. But then also there's the environmental impact of the runoff from trying to put these fires out because you're putting in the heavy metals into the storm system, the waterways.
Mhm.
Um, and you're putting all the chemicals from the material that you're using to try and put out these fires. You also have to have special like hazmat and cleanup. It's not just something that local firefighters can handle themselves. They had to call in outside entities to come help with this issue. And so that's a major concern when it comes to BESS systems. And unfortunately for us, that's what they're thinking they're going to use in our city. It's on their
Yeah,
website.
Davy Jones, who does work in the
Mhm.
industry, he's talking about the putting out lithium fires because these
Yes.
batteries are lithium, and I know
Most
I've
often.
known that there are big issues like if a Tesla catches fire and they've got a lithium battery, or a
Mhm.
e-car catches fire, they've got a lithium battery, that it takes a
Yeah.
long time and a lot of effort to
Mhm.
put those
Uh,
things out.
talking
Can I
about
ask a
Tesla
question?
fires. Oh, yeah.
Where was this proposed? The data
So this
center?
is proposed at Habitat Humanity, currently at 191 Industrial Drive. It's next to my home. Yes, it's right on the bypass.
Right in the middle of the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's right in between the downtown and the hospital, essentially.
So
Okay.
talk.
I'm so sorry.
I know y'all are on the TVA, right? Is that your electric power there, Tennessee Valley Authority?
So we have Caney
It's
Fork Electric,
yes,
which is that part? That's part of. It's a
Yes.
co-op of
yes.
TVA.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. So the TVA is to do something in the middle of a city, you drop a massive energy cruncher like that. Is the city equipped to handle that added strain onto the electric grid?
So they're claiming that it will be on a closed grid system for electricity. Obviously, this is part of a proposal. This has not been confirmed by any means. So that is not necessarily the truth when it comes to this, because their website also says that the part of their proposal is that they are open to the scalability of this, meaning that if that ends up not being enough, they might possibly hook up to the grid, which is why I believe that the Caney Fork will be speaking at the panel tomorrow as well, to have a say in the matter. But they are trying to propose that it will operate off of the Bloom system, which operates off of natural gas, but they also claim that they will have backup 24/7 continuous diesel generators. And, so this is there's much
Which
larger
side
concerns than just the Caney Fork Electric locally. It's a multifold issue there for the electricity.
which side note about Bloom Energy, the system that they're talking about using, they've already had multiple lawsuits against them by investors, and some other sources too.
Did y'all say that Aaron Brockovich is getting involved with
I
going
did
and
see
after
that.
They're
data
getting
centers?
tagged
I
a
was just
lot
like,
in
I saw your movie in the theater.
it.
Oh yeah.
That's been shared a lot in our group, actually.
Yes, many people have reached out.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I'm trying to get the stats on the one that's locally to us. So our compute capacity is going to be 600 megawatts,
Mm.
critical IT load on a 1.9 million square foot facility. I'm not sure what the do you have the stats on the size of your facility?
Yes, the
So,
size is a little bit smaller. It's a lot smaller than that.
yes.
It will equal a little bit over 2 acres.
So according to the website, it's a 25 megawatt AI focused data center occupying approximately 97,000 square feet.
Yes, it's on a 10-acre lot. The building itself might be about 2 acres, but obviously all the rest of that power has to come from somewhere, which will take up a lot more than that.
So, question. Okay, the last winter that I was there were rolling blackouts on Christmas Eve. And I know that my mom lost power on some of the coldest days, and she's like way out in like North Warren County. So, did you experience any power outages this winter? I'm just curious as current Warren residents.
Yes,
We
and
did.
actually, since the beginning of this year, I believe that we have had at least 4 power outages.
Yeah, that's yep, yep. Hmm.
Our,
So it
our
does
power went
sound
out a
like
little bit
they're
today.
already struggling.
Yeah. Yes, it
Hmm.
is.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so like ours, our land area is 548 acres. Um, 1.9 million square foot facility, 600 megawatts, and all of this effort for what they're saying is 125 full-time jobs at the end. There's going to be 1,000 people constructing it, but when that wraps up,
Yeah.
125 full-time jobs. Now, I've said this when we talk about AI and talk about anything technology related, is that we know that over time, technology shrinks. Technology gets faster and technology shrinks. So what, you know, for us, you want to stuff into a 1.9 million square foot facility in 5 years. 5 years, that has probably shrunk by half. So you would need a million square foot facility. And then, 5 years from then, it's half of that. So 500,000 square feet. But by then, you've got all of these data centers that we're putting around our governor wants 55 data centers in West Virginia. And, uh, by that point, they're going to start consolidating. So you've got these massive hulking buildings that have been built that have polluted your ground, polluted your air, polluted your water. And those companies will just back right out, and they'll consolidate those AI data centers into smaller and smaller facilities and leave us hanging with those massive buildings with nothing, what damaged water, damaged air, damaged ground, because of the vibrations that those things put out.
The return of rare cancers, respiratory illnesses, COPD, cardiovascular diseases in general. Let's see what else. I can't
And-
imagine it'd be good for the children. Let's do it for the kids, y'all.
And
Like,
a ton of McMinnville is actually disabled, and there are extremely high cancer rates already here.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that, we can't handle it. And that's another point that you were sharing as well, that because of the advancement of technology, a lot of these buildings are going to be rendered obsolete. That's a ton of waste, especially when talking about these lithium batteries. When you have a ton of them, what are you going to do with all of these things whenever these become irrelevant really soon? The thing about our data center is that it's being proposed for 2028. Most of these other data centers are being built like overnight nearly. Ours is going to be irrelevant by the time it's built, but they're just going to keep changing the plan until 2028, and then it might not be just a 2-acre facility anymore by then. Who knows what will happen, but it depends on their investors. But I don't think that they
Also,
actually know what
it's
they're doing.
And if
they're
you
only
look at,
estimating in.
go for it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they're only estimating, according to the latest interview that they did, was 23 permanent jobs, and there's no guarantee that that's going to go to any Warren County resident.
No.
I mean, the majority of our community is agricultural or nurseries. I mean, we're the nursery capital.
Are y'all still the nursery capital of the world?
I don't
Supposedly,
know if
yes.
we're still.
That is
We
maybe
memorized that in second grade, and I swear we
Yes.
went to the state capitol and we
Yes.
shook hands with representatives, and we were the most important second graders that ever existed. It was amazing.
Yes,
But
a
yeah,
lot of people here still say that, and I think most people truly appreciate that label and use it to really feel more at home where they are, regardless of whether it's technically true or not. Yeah, I think that's
It's
a
true
very
in Warren
important
County's hearts.
distinction. Yes, it's a very
well,
you know,
there are lots of nurseries. I mean, if you drive from, Manchester to Sparta, just that straight highway, how many do you pass? I mean,
And
honestly, it is one of those things. And, one of my dearest friends has a restaurant and camping and kayaking called Smooth
Yeah.
Rapids there in Warren
I
County.
work there.
What is going to
Yes.
happen to them? What
Yes.
is going to happen to Michael and Jimmy? What is going to happen? Like,
I've
that is
actually been talking to
terrifying to
Jimmy
me.
about it.
They have worked so hard.
Yes.
I mean, okay, so where
They're
that
great
restaurant
people.
is now, I'm going to be an old lady for a second. Okay, where that restaurant is now, there used to be a building there where you could literally buy old appliances, like for super cheap, like 20, $25. And they might make random noises, but usually they would work. And the man there, he just repaired them, and you would walk in, and it was just rooms and rooms of appliances. So they bought that and they had to move all of those appliances out of that building. I bet it was like, 120, But they worked so hard. Everybody that's there that has put in the time to make it a home is going to be affected by this. Whoever it is that might get one of those 23 jobs, it's going to affect your water. I sure hope that that job comes with benefits, really good ones to cover the rare cancers that these
Yes.
places are causing in Memphis. Tennessee's already been hit. We've already got
Yeah.
examples.
And what's interesting about this data center in particular is the owners have been backtracking on information. A lot of stuff has contradicted itself. So we say about 23 jobs now, but previously they were estimating about 10. So I think after all of this information came out, they started making it sound a little bit better. I'm not really sure what the exact actual estimates are, but that is a newer information that's come out after a manicured interview was done.
I like that. A manicure interview.
You should read the interviews.
We should figure out a way to do that, Dave. I'm just saying
Yeah.
they could use the love.
Yeah, I could probably use a manicure, but
Who's mine right now?
Yes. Oh, but
Oh, those
Kai's
are
an
cute,
artist. Kai's an artist. So
There
That's
you
my
go.
small business here in McMinnville. I own a nail salon.
yes, she does.
There you go. Awesome.
And
And but if you make a city unlivable, you make a local area unlivable by uh, putting a data center in there that if you've ever been to Loudoun County, Virginia, which is the data center capital, World Data Center Alley is there. It sounds like a jet. It sounds like a jet is running 24/7. And businesses in that area are going to suffer because no one wants to sit there and listen to a jet all day.
Exactly.
And that impacts everything from your quality of life, just having to deal with that, but things like foundations of buildings and the basically everything in your building is going to be dealing with that, not just the sound but the vibrations and all of that stuff. Davy Jones put in earlier talking about EMF transmissions, electromagnetic fields. That disturbs you at a cellular level. That's this is my fear when it comes to data centers is that we are rushing into this, and I applaud the 1-year moratorium on this stuff. But that we've been sold this idea that we have to get all of this computing power because we are going to lose the Chinese. Lose what? We're not sure yet, but we're going to lose the Chinese.
We already have over, I think I saw, we already have over 2,000 AI data centers in the United States. That's way more than China. I think they only have like 400 plus.
I think it's 300 actually. And it's not a lot. And what's really interesting right now, I think a lot of these places are more about cash grabs considering there are no regulations. I think people like to get into industries early when there are no regulations, make a buck, sell it, and then once it all crashes down because of regulations, they made millions.
And look at you talked about the company that's running yours, but if you look deeper into a lot of the companies that are running these are LLCs. They're registered in Delaware. They're layers of LLCs that are kind of the figurehead of what is being put on us. And when the bill comes due for a lot of this stuff, they're just going to fold. And they're going to leave us to deal with the hulking building, the environmental impacts, all of that stuff. And we're not going to, because the thing that they keep telling us about the data centers here, and I'm sure the selling point is that they're going to generate a whole lot of money, and that tax money is going to go to either the state or the local economy. And we know this is not true because if it takes a while for you to recoup the initial investment on stuff, So profit is not going to be immediate. And the cut that we have in West Virginia is like 70% goes to the state, 30% of the profit that we're in tax money. It's going to go to the state, 70% to the state, 30% to the local. If you're not making a profit immediately, you're not seeing any tax dollars. You're not seeing, and these people have tax lawyers out the wazoo
Mhm.
who know how to
Yeah.
get rid of taxes, and you're going to have very pliable legislators who will be happy to cut them tax breaks just to keep them in West Virginia or Tennessee or Colorado or wherever they're at,
Yes.
Texas.
Where we're
Just
at, it's a small business that has they own 2 laundromats here. They're just some locals, but their LLC is registered in Florida. And
Mhm.
their plan is to build it and then it seems like sell it
Sell it
so that
immediately.
Mhm. That's what it is looking like.
Which we don't have confirmation of that.
No, no
But
confirmation. That is what it seems like.
well, that's okay. It's not a court of law. It's just a podcast. But while we're putting out, I don't know, thoughts into the universe, Jimmy Haley, come to the front of the line, sir. Like, I'm going to need you to show up at these meetings. I'm not there. And you know, if I was, I would be there. I could show up in any costume y'all wanted me to, but I'm not. So I'm going to need you to do this because I love you. And you gave popsicles to my kids for years and years on the square. And you always had my vote every single time I could vote for you.
I
So
love Jimmy
please,
Haley. Yes. My dad and I were just talking about how we need to contact him.
you do.
Whenever
You
I
really
was a
do.
kid, he would pop in during Carol Neal gave me private art lessons for 10 years, and he always popped in to say hi and look at what I was doing. He was always a lot
Oh,
of fun.
yeah, he's just adorable. And you know, I don't like politicians. Like I'm kind of infamous for being really disrespectful. He is one of the only politicians I've ever seen not have a float during the parade before an election, but to be there afterwards picking up the trash.
Yes, exactly. He is a
That
people person.
that is huge to me. He loves Warren County. Like there's probably not someone that loves it more.
And to be
So
honest, his ability to remember everyone he meets is genuinely impressive. You can tell he really cares about the people of Warren County in general.
he does. He would kind of get a little bit of fear in his eyes when he saw me coming towards him because it was usually with a clipboard or a T-shirt to buy. Like I need your signature on this petition. And he was like, okay. It's like there's no such thing as a free lunch. Yeah, you're right. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You know, he was the only person I'd ever heard say that. So you know,
Yeah.
um,
What about the other politicians in your area? How are they reacting? How are they all gung ho behind it, or are they hiding behind NDAs?
It depends on who we talk about. Some of them aren't super talkative or a little bit avoidant, but a lot of them are really personable. And I actually know a lot of them personally through either they're just friends, their family connections, things like that. I know several that are really, really on the same page as us, and it seems like majority of them, if not all of them, had no idea this was happening. We haven't seen anything about an NDA yet. There was a private meeting once. They swear nothing shady happened, and it was just to confirm that this was happening. But it was in person, and the struggle with that is that there's no evidence. There's nothing we can fall back to. There's no emails, there's no messages or anything like that. So we have to trust their word that there weren't any promises made and it was just a confirmation meeting. But other than that, that seems to be what I have seen.
So
well,
you
and then
said that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, so talking about that informal meeting, so part of the issue is there was an interview done with Alex Hickson, and he said that he had an informal meeting with our county executive, our city administrator, and the community development director. Um, and what's funny is they said that this happened Tuesday morning. Well, Tuesday morning, I got an email from the chief of staff of our county executive saying that they didn't know anything about it and it was just a rumor. And I haven't been able to get a response back asking clarifying questions on that once that interview came out. But I did speak to our city administrator and was able to talk to him about what happened. And he said that the county executive wasn't even in that meeting that he had with Alex Hickson. And it was him, Alex Hickson, and the community development director. It must have been a separate meeting with our county executive, Terry Bell. And so I haven't been able to get a hold or a response from the county executive on that side of the meeting. So I'm hoping tomorrow Kai can question that.
Clarify that. Yes, the
You
person
know,
that she talked to was Nolan Ming, by the way.
Yes, Nolan Ming.
I think
He
Terry
has been
Bell has a
great.
Facebook page.
Who?
I'm just
Terry Bell.
saying. Yeah,
Terry
for
Bell.
his campaign page. I mean, if he's running for, he ought to be able
Yeah.
to answer to some of his
Mhm.
constituents. I also threw a couple of names out. Sorry, Michael Shane Wiltshire, Blaine Wiltshire. Y'all have always been so opinionated, and I love you so much for it. Can y'all do work your magic? I'm not trying to
Which
overstep, but these are the only people I could ever depend on to actually stand up in a commission meeting. So that's I just there weren't many. I'm so proud of y'all for doing this.
Thank you.
Just to go back to being an old lady.
I have a question about you talked about this group that's doing it. It's a person that owns laundromats.
Yes, so it is a father and son duo who own Hickson Holdings LLC. Their names are Ray, who is the father, and Alex, who is the son. Alex is the one who has been doing all the interviews with the papers and such, but tomorrow during the panel, both of them will be present. They have their LLC out of Florida. I have heard through someone else that they were locals, so I'm not really sure why they chose LLC in Florida and not here, but like you said, that's typically a get around for other reasons.
Because data centers are expensive. Like they're
Yes.
an expensive undertaking. So how are they being? I mean, I know people who own laundromats, and they make decent money, but not build a data center in the middle of a city money.
Yeah, from what I can understand, and Lilia can totally correct me on this, it seems like they're trying to get backings from other companies to help them build it. I tried to explain it to another local, sort of like opening a franchise of McDonald's, where you're not exactly like fronting all of the cost for this McDonald's necessarily, because it's not necessarily your McDonald's. You're just sort of a representative of the McDonald's, if that makes sense. That's not necessarily a direct, example, but that's sort of a way to understand it. When you have other backers who can help you to do this, because I genuinely don't think that they could get the money from this unless they have been, I don't know, saving literally every penny from those laundromats.
I mean, yeah, because
Well,
servers are
so-
fantastically expensive, especially those level of servers.
So they own the laundromats, but then they also own other real estate properties.
Yes,
And I don't know
Sorry about that.
if that's like rentals. I haven't fully looked into that. So I'm not quite sure, but I know that they own other property in Warren County other than just the laundromats and the proposed sites. But their website lists that they're currently in the financing and tenant looking stage on their website. So like she said, they're trying to find investors. And I think that's what he said in one of his interviews too. And I think somebody from our community posted that they need like 10 million to start this. So I don't know how they're going to do that.
They're putting a lot into it.
The cost for ours, they say it's a $4 billion technology campus, but the outlay initial projected at 94 million. So, but still, it's a lot of money to drop into. And it doesn't sound like they're super, like if they're still looking for investors, you could put a whole lot of work and then it not come to fruition.
I think
Yeah,
I
they've
outed
been
them before
threatening.
they were ready.
Ah,
Yes,
okay,
that's
there
very
you
much.
go.
And
Good, good
during one
stuff.
of their interviews, they actually, this
Oh,
is not a direct quote, but during one of
whoopsie.
their interviews at the very end, well, I say there, but it was Alex's, at the end of the interview, he said that essentially he was disappointed that he couldn't control the narrative first. He wanted to be able to give the news so that he could sell this facility the way that he wanted to sell it before anyone else could actually come out and say what was really happening. So it seemed like, because this has been being planned since 2025 of June,
Yeah.
they have been trying to keep this under the table the whole time. I mean, a year. So I think they were going to keep it secret until all of a sudden across a commissioner's desk was a request for a certain permit, or depending on what the zoning is, they might not have needed anything.
Which they bought this property back in 2024. So
Yes.
we know for sure they started in June of 2025, but they
Right.
could have been thinking
Could have
about it
been in,
for way longer than that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the website was published in June of 2025. I'll clarify.
You know, to me, that's bunk reasoning. Like if your project is sound and an investment strategy is sound, that you should be able to sell it regardless of how it's revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be able to take it to the public and say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. And if it's a good project, a project or product, that it should stand on its own. How it's revealed shouldn't matter.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's so your system is more on the county level that can approve these, versus what we have in West Virginia, which is the county having all the say taken away.
Ours would be city versus county since
Our
it's
city,
within city limits. Obviously, that does encompass the county as well, but because it's
yeah,
within city limits, the city is takes precedent.
But
which
we
is
are pushing for the county to also adopt a
Yes,
temporary
yeah.
moratorium.
The
uh,
city comes first, and the county is absolutely directly after that.
yeah, because for like we're dealing with it in a completely different way because we don't have a whole lot of say. When our local legislators, who are all of the Republican Party, voted for this, except for one. I'll give him credit. Chris Sanders voted against the microgrid bill. Um, but when our county commissioners are, keeping quiet about this stuff and saying that they don't know anything about it, and then they show up in Charleston when they make the announcement, um, you know, did they just say, "Hey, come to Charleston. We got an announcement to make, but we're not going to tell you what the announcement is." I'm pretty sure they knew ahead of time. It's just frustrating because we don't have any control over the issue. Like we're trying to organize. We've got a Facebook group here in the Eastern Panhandle fighting against data centers, but it's hard to because it's quicker for us to get to New York City than it is to get to Charleston, the state capital. You can't get to anywhere in West Virginia from the Eastern Panhandle unless you want to go through some pretty sketchy back roads without leaving the state of West Virginia. You have to go either to Maryland or Virginia to get to any other part of West Virginia. Um, so we're cut off, and we feel cut off from our capital and our ability to make our voice heard. But I would love for it to be local, so I could petition my local county government. Not that I think that we're get a completely different outcome. I think the county government's just fine doing this as well. But I'd like the ability to not have to take off 2 days of work to go down to Charleston and come back. And I think that's where, a lot of these states that are taking away the local rights of people to, redress their grievances. That's why you're seeing the data centers really push for this, remove the control from the local county governments and put it in the state. So you can't, it's you can organize locally, but they never see it down in Charleston. So
Mhm.
I mean, for me, it's frustrating. Um, and my hope for you all is that because it's a much more local decision, that you're going to have much more luck than we are having at this point. So, um, talk about you are what organizing events are you holding at this point to get more people involved?
So we have mainly organized online, but we've got quite a lot of people on board and a lot of confirmation. We have got 4 major events upcoming. Tomorrow, which is June 1st at 9:30 a.m., is the Q&A panel hosted by a local um, podcast/news group called Warren First. They're going to have the mayor, Ryle Chastain, the Warren County Executive, Terry Bell, representatives from Ben Lomond Connect about the fiber connectivity, representatives from Caney Fork Electric Co-op about possible electric demands and effects. Our water department has seemed to be elusive and hasn't really wanted to comment, so I don't believe they'll be there. Deshelle McVeigh, Benjamin Powell, and myself will also be there to represent the people to address questions towards directly Alex and Ray Hickson about the data center. It'll be, questions that the community has been asking or questions that people have been too scared to ask, or like the government representatives like that who can't maybe ask certain questions. We're there to ask those questions. We're calling for people to watch that so that they can be well informed. Other than that, the actual in-person events are Tuesday, June 2nd at 5 p.m. Will be the Warren County Commission meeting for Economic and Agriculture Committee. That is, the county there that they're going to organize it and talk about the data center and how it affects the county and agriculture. On June 3rd, which is a Wednesday at 6 p.m., they're going to actually host a vote for the moratorium, it seems. And Lilia can say more after I talk about June 9th as well, which it seems that one may or may not be irrelevant towards the moratorium, depending on how the vote goes on June 3rd. But public comment is allowed at all 3 meetings. So June 2nd is for agriculture, June 3rd is for the vote on the moratorium, and June 9th was originally the meeting about the moratorium, but Chastain moved a more important sudden meeting to be able to vote on this.
Which he moved it up because they wanted to put the vote in. They were worried that waiting another week and a half would allow somebody to put in a proposal and then they would be grandfathered in. So this way, pushing up the voting allows, realistically, who's going to get a proposal in 3 days? So this way, the vote happens faster. So there's less likely of a chance for a project to get grandfathered in before new restrictions and zoning clauses are put into place. So that is why they moved up the meeting for the 3rd for the city of McMinnville, which I think that's great.
Yes, yeah, Chastain has been a huge help, and I think it also really helps that Coffee County, one of our neighbors, they're struggling with a similar issue, but it's on federal land, and it's become a real fight for them. But their mayor is super anti-AI data center, and he has been super outspoken online, in person, and he's been doing everything he could to fight this federal land AI data center. It's at the Arnold Air Force Base.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
let me introduce
no.
one of our co-hosts who is joining us right now. It's Ari Galbrick. How you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you. All
Awesome
right.
sauce. It's nice to be able to meet y'all. I'm really interested in this topic. It's what I've heard so far. I'm really glad that Dave ended up bringing you on for the show. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna enjoy talking with y'all.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, this is an issue that is impacting. We could win the fight here in Berkeley County, but there are actually 2 other data centers that are planned for our county. There are data centers being planned all up and down West Virginia as we speak. So, it's like a big giant game of whack-a-mole that if you can manage to knock one down, another it's going to pop up in Tyler County or Mongolia, Mongolia County. I always call Monongalia Mongolia.
Oh.
And it's just a force of habit. But Monongalia, which is where WVU, the university is based. But we it's impacting us all over the country, and there's just this race to grab money. And you spoke to this earlier that it, people want to be in on, early on it, and really we're not early on the game of data centers. If you wanted to be in early on the game of data centers, it was 2020. Um, that's when you wanted to get in early. We're being sold a bill of goods, and I think all this is taking money from us and redirecting it to these data centers, these people that are, you know, power corporations are getting a huge investment in this because they have to, improve the infrastructure for, power, especially in West Virginia or even anywhere in Appalachia. The, getting high, tension power lines to deliver power to the data centers. We don't, our infrastructure is old. Our
Mhm.
infrastructure is just not up to stuff. And we are also have the highest power bills in the country. Average power bills in West Virginia are high, and we just had our one of the big power companies here in West Virginia say, "Hey, we need a rate increase." This is before these
Gotcha.
data centers are being built. We're in a situation that factor in all of the stuff that's going on in this world that is making our lives more expensive, whether it's Iran or just the general inflation and tariffs and things like that.
Mhm.
This is another thing that is going to drive a wedge for the people to
Mhm.
be able to afford their just their life. Like,
Just being alive.
yeah,
Yes.
Mhm.
uh, I you know,
There, there, there was an activist who I've talked to frequently from New Orleans who talks about this, who likens it to what happened in New Orleans East. It's dubbed Cancer Row
mhm,
because of all of the toxic chemicals that are there and the rush to be able to get refineries. And it's this rush that is the same thing. It's not being thought through. Like there's so many things that it could be done and could be done well, but they're just not being done. And they're not listening to people. They're just, pushing it forward.
no,
It's
no,
sort of a
they
fad with the AI specifically.
it
Hmm.
is.
It
It
is.
is. And here's my worry. We talked about the Ogallala Aquifer. uh, all across the West, we're seeing rivers dry up. The Rio Grande is dry. Lots of data centers up and down the Rio Grande right now. There's the Colorado River, Lake Mead. That is, drying up rapidly. And it's not just AI. It's irrigation and all that stuff that impacts the
Hmm.
the
And
rivers out
we didn't
west.
have a winter. So
Yeah, well, the
everybody
winter.
lost their minds.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's
We
gonna
Yeah,
be
did.
that's
dry
not
out
good.
there. It's gonna be dry out there. So it was a super. Is it the La Nina or El Nino this year that will
El
probably bring
Nino.
more El Nino that will bring in heavy fire dangers to the west,
Yeah.
and won't have the water to put out those fires.
Now,
Um,
something that we do have here
Yeah.
is the memorandum that does pause any construction on data centers. Jefferson County, Colorado. Hey, hey. Voted this in because, and the surrounding counties as well, because no, there's no regulation. What are you doing? We already have drought conditions. There are rich people that can only water their lawns once a day.
oh
Like
my
it's
god.
serious, y'all. So I just, it feels like maybe we should take this seriously because it's our water. Like, I don't know, being a nurse, it kind of feels important. Water,
Mhm.
air, and I
Well,
don't
I'll
know,
just drink my Mountain
sunlight.
Dews.
even Danville
Breaking
nurses have
news, we need
some
fucking
drought.
air to breathe. Like,
Mhm.
really? What is it going to take? So that's just, and you know how I feel. Memphis, the reason that Memphis got to happen and happened under everybody's nose is because they were poor black people. And now they're poor black people that are sick.
Yeah.
So,
I,
that
Well,
that's what we're looking at.
it's like I said, it's the race. It's the same race that ended up causing the issues that have happened in my home city. It's the same issues that have been happening with everything that just gets pushed through too quickly, and
Yes.
it's not thought through well.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I think
look at the
that's
effects that it had on New Orleans, and it's happening now in other places.
that's to me. I think that is the smart thing with what's going on in McMinnville is to really push the idea of a moratorium because one, it stretches out the time, allows people to look at what's going on and see what's going on in other. We all you have to do is look at Memphis and what's going on there with the centers there,
Oh,
and
where is it in Georgia that AOC got the water?
yeah, just outside of I think
Was it
either north
Macon?
or
Uh,
no, it's
No.
north of Macon, I think, between Macon and Atlanta, or towards the
But yeah, the
Alabama border.
jar of water, I was like, oh, Aaron Brockovich moment, drink it. I was like, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
And
but
actually,
it's
I feel
Morgan
like we're
this,
County.
really lucky with the
Thank you. Thank you.
moratorium and everything because we're actually, our city is already in the middle of changing their zoning laws. It's part of their initiative from 2023 through, what is it, 2027, I believe.
It's 2023 to 2026.
26. Okay, so see, we're right at the tail end. So they're already trying to add in some laws. Was it 93 that the last time they were changed?
Yeah, our
Yeah.
current zoning regulations are from 1993.
Yeah. So
And they
heavily
currently have a
outdated.
rough draft of updated
Yes.
I
one.
have a
So
rough
now
draft.
is a great time for us to add on to that. So
Mhm.
luckily for us, the moratorium will be a huge help because a lot of the zoning is already in process of being changed. So it's not like we're starting a process that is going to be extremely painful to begin because it's already there. So we got extremely lucky with that.
Oh, y'all, I'm so worried about these good old boys.
Oh,
I'm so
you and me
worried.
both.
Look at the
Yeah.
information they're stacking up against. Look at the brains that they're going to have to compete against, Dave. They ain't going to make this. These good old boys, I know them. They can't do this. They might as well back down now.
yeah, for us, you have an important thing, and that's zoning. We don't in our. I think which made us a lot more uh, susceptible to putting the data center here is that our county does not have zoning at all. The
Mm.
city of Martinsburg,
That's
which is
true.
our county seat, has some zoning, but the county itself does not, and it was voted down about 20 years ago. I think a lot of people are kind of regretting that vote. I've seen the arguments both ways on zoning, and it kind of fits in the whole mountaineer spirit of let me decide how I control my land. Well, now we're
That is
Dave,
a
seeing.
big
can
concern
you
here
like
as well. Yeah.
as HOA president, can you like scoop up that land and be like, no, this doesn't pass
Mm,
the rich people laws. We
I
can't do
wish.
that.
I've been trying to give away that damn job for 4 years now.
I
So
think you
So
have the power, though. You have the
I
power.
do not have any power. Yeah.
Okay, but you
just
can
All I
claim the power.
my power is? My
No.
power is my power is to get yelled at by people. That is my superpower as an HOA president, and it's amazing.
Congratulations, Dave.
You need to
It's
get
a it's
you
a
a little
you know
slingshot
well
and
the
just
reason why
slingshot marshmallows at people because it's not going to hurt, but that's
well no, they
humiliating
don't
as
show up to
crap.
the meetings. They don't show up to the meetings. They just yell at me on
Go to their
Facebook.
fucking house, dude. You got their address. You know where they live.
I know where you live.
As soon as they
Yeah.
open the door, pop.
No.
which
Well,
I
I
do
was
that's
gonna
also
say,
dangerous in West Virginia. So you show up on somebody's doorstep, and that's a good way to end up with more holes than you
we
had
I
got a
before.
stand your
forgot.
ground
You're
law there.
in the
somebody brought
civilized area.
I do think
somebody
you have a
brought
good
this up in
point.
the comments. I was gonna
Uh,
Oh,
say somebody brought this up in the comments, and I think this is very pointed. Is that Appalachia has historically been very much experimented on.
oh
yes,
yeah,
It
that
Absolutely.
has
is
been one of the
Taylor.
testing grounds.
Yes, we were.
Yeah,
Yeah, Taylor is incredible, and yes, that is an incredibly great point to make. That Appalachia is a targeted land. Our land is so cheap, because in Tennessee, our income laws are really lenient. You can make a lot more money here than maybe you would in other states, even with the same
yeah.
job, even though you're not being paid as much, just because of the way taxes are done. But I think you made a really great point that something even people here are really concerned about, even with zoning, is they don't like being told what to do on their land. And
Yeah.
one of the things that we're really trying to make a point with here is that it's not just affecting their land. It's like if you dropped a nuke on your house, it's still going to affect everyone else around it. Even though your house was the target, it's still blowing everything else up.
Yeah.
So I feel
The-
like that's
Which,
an important thing that we're trying to talk about.
yeah, which Warren County, the county, doesn't actually have countywide zoning regulations.
Right.
It just has state mandated building codes, junkyard rules, and subdivision regulations. So that's partly what we are wanting to work on, is getting, I think it's called the County's Power Act. I know there was a lot of conversation with that when we were dealing with the quarry here in the Dibble community. And that was shot down, but that was because there was already a proposal out there for the quarry. And so the county was worried about being sued if they enacted the County Powers Act. But I think we have a better shot because there's not an official proposal out there, of getting that put in, so we can do more county zoning.
Yeah.
Well,
Yay. See,
Especially when
y'all
we're
are so
part of the city.
Well, an interesting thing to like also think about in these cases, this is also another function of government forcing things onto people that they may not actually end up wanting. Like even if you don't just look at the zoning, like this is a lot of these data centers are being forced on people and given like things like tax breaks or given special access to things that other people within that city don't have access to. And so, you know, yet again, it comes down to another governmental problem that is could have been given to people to be able to discuss and have the power and a say in how their towns and cities end up being built.
Yeah. So what are your general feelings on AI as, as we have it now? I know AJ is against AI.
Let me get my fan. I got to be sassy.
You
what
always have to, AJ.
AJ is always sassy. But
I'll let you go
Kai
first.
and
You
Lilia,
lazy fools. Write your own resumes, answer your own emails, fill in your own calendars. You can do it. You know how I know? You've got degrees. You've got pieces of paper that prove your intelligence. Y'all can go now. I'm done.
It's hard for me. I'm for it, but I'm not against it. And I can see the benefits, but I do agree about what AJ said about, I mean, we haven't needed it. So why all of a sudden the big push for the reliance on it? I mean, I'm currently a college student. I'm finishing up my bachelor's before going into my master's program, and we can't use it. I've had one class that required it, and that was a project management course, and we had to see the prompts that it would give us and why it was either correct or wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why we need to be so reliant on AI when we haven't needed it in the past. So I don't quite understand the big push for it, but I can see the benefits of it. But I think there's a lot of cons, just like to everything. It's hard because for me, I don't like how for schools we're so technology based
Oh
now.
my
I mean,
God, yeah.
even in elementary school they have computers, and I don't understand that. It's scientifically proven that you learn better when you are physically writing on pen with pen and paper. So for me, and as a mom, that's the hard part, is my kids are introduced to all this stuff at school when I'm trying not to do that at home, because I want to teach them responsibility and I don't want them to rely on it. I want them to use their own brain. But I mean, even Google is now set up for the first thing that you see is AI.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's not like you can even do your own research now because it's just given to you. There's no work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
those are
Yeah.
great points. What about you, Kai?
I am generally, for me, it's the way that we've gone about it. The way that AI as the concept previously before we started doing all of this could have been helpful and it still could, but the problem is how it's been set up so far. It's been trained improperly. There, especially for
Mhm.
generative AI, it's all based on stolen artwork. Nothing has actually been done productively whenever it comes to training it because it's just done all wrong in my opinion. And also whenever it comes to actually detecting AI, it's not reliable whenever it comes to detecting something is AI, except for with our own ability. We are the only ones who are able to actually be able to tell majority of the time. AI itself,
The hand
putting
has
it
6
into
fingers.
an Yes, like putting an AI detector into AI, it's like whenever it's trained off of classic literature, classic art, or even just general things made by people, none of it was actually made by AI. So AI itself doesn't have a trademark. Its trademark is an amalgamation of other people. So it's sort of difficult to pin down, especially when you're looking at something like who was this stolen from? Who
Yeah.
actually said this anywhere in the world at any time whenever it's talking about, who typed out this exact sentence somewhere to where AI spat it out? And why couldn't I just look up that sentence directly? Why do I need AI to go find it for me? Whenever it comes to AI prompts, like for example, someone trying to generate, for me at my job, a set of nails as an example for inspiration. Why didn't you just tell me the exact same words you told ChatGPT to generate an image? I am way better at understanding what you just tried to explain to ChatGPT than ChatGPT is at understanding it. I'm a human sitting in front of you. So, for a lot of reasons, I feel like it's sort of irrelevant whenever it comes to these specific things and the way that it was trained. But if there were a way to do it morally, if there were a way to do it properly, like using it in a medical field, if it were done right, it could be really helpful at detecting things. It's a lot more efficient at seeing cancer and things like that. But again,
Mhm.
just the way that we've done it, and the way that we're building these AI data centers, nothing has been super helpful to humanity, especially with the AI psychosis. Like you were talking about your children, we've seen kids who are committing suicide because they are being convinced through AI psychosis
Mhm.
because it's just a yes man. Again, that's a training problem and also regulations, things like that. I just think that technology like this, it should have a lot more reins put on it before it starts being developed. But that's the thing, whenever new things are invented, it's sort of hard to know what laws to put in place whenever it comes to brand new concepts. A lot of people don't know what to do with that and struggle to create laws around it, which is why conversations like this, podcasts like this, and advocacy is so important when it comes to this because that's the only reason we've ever seen any change. Just like the ladies who had to lick lead paint for years in a factory, the only reason that ever changed was because of people like us.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. You know, well, Ari, what are your feelings on AI?
So I usually always take the balanced route on things because I can see the pros and the cons on both sides. Um, I've seen what it can do. Um, my cousin studied and ended up having a thing for his doctoral thesis on artificially intelligent locational neural networks. It is AI that teaches itself how to be able to move in directions and things, and it's actually helping in shipping and in hospitals and in delivery for stuff. Um, I've seen things like Watson, which is leaps and bounds ahead of what you have for Chat GPT or anything that we have online. And that's been around since 2011. It's been developed to be able to go and crunch numbers inside of medical data sets. Millions of them, millions upon millions of data sets in a single day to be able to help with things. But that is far beyond what we have now with things like generative AI. Generative AI, like Leah ended up saying, is based off of stolen things. And I come at this being also an artist. being somebody who creates things, being somebody who has had their work taken from them before. And I look at it now and I realize that as good as it could be, there are still human beings behind it. And current generative AI and some of the AI programs that people end up using are only as good as the people who end up programming it. And those people are inherently, unfortunately, very flawed. We see rampant things like racism, um, Islamophobia, anti Semitism being unfortunately very deeply embedded in these things. And I, of all people, will regret to say, very regretfully having to say, is that reining these things in and knowing when to be able to put in the regulations that are necessary, I think are going to be, because it has potential. But that potential right now is being squandered and is being used in a way that is not sustainable, that is not holistic, and it's not a way that really benefits people in learning, education, science, literature, and artistic endeavors.
Yeah, for me, um, I am tech adjacent. I work in tech for the government. Um, the I see potential benefits to AI. I think where accuracy is important. I know I already talked about supply chains and things like that. Um, but I also know that technology can be taken away at snap of a finger. Like something happens, power goes down, and you're trying to do supply chain management. That's sort of long term supply,
Mhm.
power supply issue. You try and do supply chain management, and you have to go back to pen and paper and paper maps. There's going to be some danger in that. We rely on tech too hard in school. I know both.
Yep.
We we're handing kids tablets. My wife is a third grade teacher. Those kids have tablets they take home, and it's great if you are home for a number of days due to snow and you can actually have class. But I go out to dinner now a days, and I look across the restaurant and I see a parent whose child is fussing, and the first thing they do is throw a screen in front of their face. And instead of being parented and say, "Hey, don't act out at supper," here, let the screen mollify the child and let the child be raised on AI. Um, I'm concerned about the damage to art, and I'll admit that I've used it to generate pictures before, um, just for quick things. I like making fun of politicians, so sometimes I'll use it for that because I know my limitations. I'm shitty at art, but I'm concerned when, like half of the top 10 songs in music today are AI generated and sung by AI robots. I talked about this a few weeks ago. There's a song, it was a absolutely wonderful song, like called "I'll Meet You in My Next Life." And when I first heard it, it said it was sung by Sia and one of Bob Marley's kids, his youngest son. Um, Was not sung by them. It was just AI taking their voices and putting it to the lyrics that AI had generated. Um, and I'm thinking AI knows what we like. AI is just packaging stuff up into what is the current flavor of the week. And you're not getting innovation off of that. You're getting regurgitation off of that.
Yeah.
You're not getting brand new stuff. You're not advancing the cause of art by doing that. You are keeping art in a static position that, we're just feeding you what was popular when this AI was generated. And they're I don't I don't trust it, and for me, when it comes to things like news, um,
Oh.
we're getting fed AI slop everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's hard
Yep.
for us to determine what is real and what is not. There was a video that came out during the Iran war of a bombing supposedly at Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, and it was super realistic. You're like, holy cow, and everybody's like freaking out about it. And it took a few days, but somebody was like, hey, check out the license plate on the ambulance that they show at the very end of this video. Like the A is upside down. Like there are tells that you can say, oh, okay, well they're AI, but eventually AI is going to learn to correct for that stuff,
Yeah.
and we're going to be
Well, we've been
lied
training it
to.
this whole time, right? With
Yeah.
with
Yep.
Well, is
Maybe.
it
like
is it?
pick
It
the
Are
might.
red
we
light,
training
It
it? Or
pick the
might.
bicycle, pick the bridge. I've
yeah,
been
Right.
teaching the fucking enemy.
yeah.
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 Is it
Yeah. We
teaching us,
train
or
it
are we
initially.
teaching it? And I think we're getting to the
Yeah.
point where it's going to
Yes.
start teaching us. And that's the scary thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I
I
feel
want to
like
bring up something because I'm so sorry. Did I speak over
no,
you?
no, 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 no. I spoke over you. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to say something because I have had both of my boys have graduated high school now. Charlie has, of course, graduated college. And
Congrats.
they are, I mean, they will judge the fuck out of you if you're using AI for your stuff. Like they have no patience for that. I remember Charlie
Awesome.
specifically was accused of using AI to write one of his essays. No, 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 no. That was Starbucks and Charlie at like 11 p.m. the night before it was born.
Exactly.
But they accused him and they had to run it through a whole thing. And it was like, oh, well, maybe you didn't. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
how dare you, because of
Yeah.
course he is an artist. Like
Mm-hmm.
his money before we moved here was from art. That was
Yeah.
it. So
Nice.
when AI started, I mean, he had followed artists. They had their stuff stolen. It is so, so common.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
you know what the worst part about all this is that we could have AI that does things for us so that we can make the art. But we're not doing that. We humanized it in such a way that it is going to be greedy. It is going to be self-serving because that's the way it was designed.
I mean, it's who's designing it. And you're talking about the Elon Musks and the
Exactly.
Sam Altmans of the world that
Exactly.
are
Right. Like my
fairly
entire point.
sociopathic.
Yes. The thing is that AI right now should stay out of the things. The entire point of technological advancement and advancement of humanity in general is to make life more enjoyable and easier for us. That's the entire point of every technological
Mhm.
advancement that we've ever made. Right now, this should be focused on making things that make living difficult, make it easier, and not focus on the humanities and the arts. The arts are for us. That's what we enjoy. That's the entire point of living for us, right? Is that it makes things enjoyable. It's art is how humans speak to each other about humanity. But whenever it comes to things like, helping with the medical, like you were talking about, all the technological advancements, whenever it comes to science and things like that, that's where it could be used to make our lives easier, give us less time at work, more time at play. But
Yeah.
instead, we're using it the other way around and it's creating brain rot. But it's because of, like you just said, the capitalistic ventures of trying to keep you at work so that they can make more money and make you do
Yeah.
less art. So that way you're still at work and you don't have to worry about learning how to make art because it
We
doesn't
haven't
work.
even talked about some of the even more worrying aspects of AI, which is, uh, aggregating all of our data in one place.
Oh, who cares? Doge done took it.
Yeah,
Doge done
don't
took
just
it
take it.
all. Like whatever information, blah 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 blah. No,
Yeah,
like
privacy, all that
No, no,
stuff is out the
no,
window.
no, no, no. Hey,
privacy. What's
AJ,
that?
AJ, I am a queer, transgender, disabled Jew. I get to call the alarms on this. I don't like that. Lists are bad.
Lists are bad.
It's their band.
Lists are bad.
I
All
Lists are
left.
right.
bad.
Okay. Are y'all ready for the quiz?
Oh God. I mean, we can
We
try.
Yes.
can we can quiz. It's not. It doesn't hurt that bad.
I did
Yeah,
analog
we have
activities. I didn't pay
Brandy.
attention. So we'll
Yeah, we got
see.
We
Brandy
have
here.
Brandy.
I think we're
We have
we're
Brandy here
okay.
tonight. Yeah,
All
exactly.
right, hold on a second. We got a screen share. There we go. We're only going to be like small pictures on the side here.
Oh, that's a beach.
There we are.
Do I win?
Yes. So we got a beach. So the unofficial start of summer was Memorial Day this past
Little
week.
houses on the hillside.
Well, it looked like houses underwater, and then there
there
was a big Chinese explosion in China. We didn't get a chance to talk about Grand Platinum. That's another story that is blowing up. We'll probably address that more next week. But
Yeah.
Okay.
yikes! Democrats, don't fuck this up, please.
Double dog dare you.
Jesus Christ! All right,
Oh, it is
question.
a blue moon. We could all just like wish it really
Yeah.
hard.
So let's see. Rescue operation record heat wave basketball milestone. And what do you remember from the week that was? So this is the quiz from Friday. So things that have happened this weekend, which in Trump's America is a lifetime.
Ew.
Is not a part of this quiz. So question number 1: construction is underway for the first major sporting event at the White House. What type of competition will be featured? Is it going to be tennis, golf, basketball, or mixed martial arts?
Mixed martial arts, allegedly.
I
think it's going to be sponsored by Grinder.
Well, everything.
Happy
Everything.
Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
I know. Somebody ended up telling me, and this will stick forever in my brain, is that it's wonderful of this current president to be able to bring the best, gayest sport ever known to man, which is MMA.
MMA is pretty much homoerotic porn. I mean, it really is. I mean, the whole thing where
I saw
I saw this
Gladiator.
the guy who was like this, these super like alpha straight guys who's like, I love watching MMA. I love when they get on the ground, they ground and pound, and I'm like, that is just
Like that.
yeah, dude. Ground and pound.
That's your favorite part, sir?
When
Interesting.
they grind on each other, it should be set to like that. It's set to some 70s porn music.
That would be a good use of AI.
Oh, and they're building a cage. So,
Oh God.
I love it. I love it. They are representing.
Dude needs to come out in a ball gag. I mean, that would just set the whole mood.
A little whip, yeah.
I meant there's various different toys to explore, but yes.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, the construction crews are building a cage on the south lawn of the for a mixed martial arts showdown next month on Trump's 80th birthday. That's how he's celebrating. Is watching men oiled up grinding against each other.
He's not even going to be there.
Hey, can I?
He's not there mentally already. Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? My dad, and I will say this until the end of time, until I am dead, was literally born the day after Trump.
Wow.
And my dad was amazing. So guys, keep this in mind. I'm going to be doing, and I'll make this public. I am doing a fundraiser for the library that he wrote one of the very first published papers for public libraries of the transfer of floppy disk to CD-ROM in 1989.
Nice.
Yes. Floppy. So I'm doing a fundraiser for the Monterey Bay Area Library Collective in honor of my father's birthday. No, and I'm going to teach them.
Well, they probably don't know what a CD-ROM is either, but Question number 2: several villagers trapped in flooded cave made international headlines this week. Where did the incident occur? Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, or Cambodia?
Laos.
Brandy says Laos.
I'm going with Brandy.
Brandy says Laos. Yeah, Brandy says Laos. Brandy is always
right. Like as soon as I was like, Brandy
is always right.
He's answering the questions before I even get to them. So, yep. Several villagers in Laos were trapped while searching for gold in a flooded cave. There was not gold in them there, Hulls. A multinational rescue team is involved in an effort to bring them to safety.
That
Well, I
is
hope
not
they
what I
come to
thought that
safety.
picture was of.
All right. Question number 3. Which country partially restored internet access following an 88-day nationwide blackout? I know this one. Is it Iran, North Korea, Russia, or China? China. Sorry. I got to do that every time I hear it.
I know. It's in
China.
my head.
It's
You said it was
Iran.
88 days?
It's Iran.
Yeah. It's Iran. They blacked out internet
Yeah.
in advance of the U.S. and Israeli strikes on the country.
So,
Brandy
how
got it.
long are things supposed to last before Congress votes on
Oh,
whether or not we're doing this?
well, it was 30 days, and then
Oh,
they
okay, okay.
yeah,
And I'm not a math whiz here, but how many days more is 88? Is that where we're at?
well, when your Speaker of the House adjourns rather than taking a vote on stuff.
Does math work differently when you're Speaker of the House?
Yes, well, math, the rules don't matter. It's like whose line
Republican
is it?
math.
Well, it's like whose line is it anyway? The points are made up, and the rules don't matter. So yeah,
Well,
so Iran partially restored internet access following an 88-day nationwide blackout imposed by authorities, according to state media. Of course, remember prior to the war, they were trying to incite Iranians to the streets, and Iranians did take to the streets to a point, but we're obliterated. So, yay. Question
40,000? Yeah, 40,000.
40,000. 40. Thanks, Trump. Yeah, the United States will always have the back of the Iranian people, and then stand back and watch while that shit happens. So, question number 4: which member of the Trump family got married this week without dad there? Is it Ivanka, Donald Jr., Tiffany, or Eric?
Donald Jr.
It is Donald Jr.
And he married
It
the
is Donald Jr.
daughter of the man that helped Epstein purchase his island.
Yeah.
Not suspicious. That's
No.
not suspicious.
Brandy got it
Don't
right.
be
Oh,
suspicious.
Sloan
Don't
Jr.
be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr.'s wedding this weekend in the Bahamas has remained a remarkably under wraps. Even days later, I think they just started releasing some stuff from it this week. But apparently, he got married before they went down there. But I don't know. They
Under
needed their
wraps for a
spectacle.
reason.
Yeah. Question number 5: which public figure warned this week that rapidly advancing AI technology is fueling global conflicts? Gee. Bill Gates, Pope Leo the 14th, Volodymyr Zelensky, or Xi Jinping from China?
I thought it was the Pope.
It is the
It
Pope.
was
Was
the
it the
Pope.
Pope?
It was the Pope.
Yeah.
Pope Leo
Like
warned
in
that
the Chicago Pope.
yeah.
I
Pope Leo
like the
warned
Pope.
that artificial intelligence should not be controlled by the hands of a few. In the major theological document of the first major theological document of his pontificate. Randy got it right as well.
Somebody suggested, and this is legitimate, there are faiths out there, like Catholicism now, that has an encyclical on it, and including Judaism, that have talked out against the use of AI. So somebody somewhere eventually can actually get away with saying it is against my religious beliefs to use AI.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I don't know what it's going to come to. Like, he's right. We've got AI in the hands of a few people who are very sociopathic. Who
Yes.
I think when in the face of, let's say, if AI data centers dry up the Ogallala Aquifer and our breadbasket of the United States is a dust bowl, they're going to say,
Again.
well, human lives are an acceptable risk for advancements in AI, and hell no. But
That's
I
some
think there are
Lord
people.
Farquaad bullshit.
Yeah, I mean
No.
there's
Some
some.
of you may die.
Yeah,
Lots of
yeah,
risk, God willing.
exactly.
I meant we could just invoke Butlerian jihad.
Mm. I
All
did.
right. Question number 6. Which U.S. city could disappear beneath rising sea levels faster than experts once thought? Miami, New Orleans, Charleston, or Houston? This one, I think
I
it's
believe it's
Miami.
my city. No, I thought it was New Orleans.
No, I saw something this week about Miami could disappear faster than thought. I think I think we think that New Orleans is going to disappear pretty fast, but Miami was a little, maybe.
Um,
I think Charleston or Miami.
Let's
I
see
don't
what
know.
Brandy says.
Yeah, let's see what Brandy says.
Brandy says New Orleans. See, I thought
don't
New Orleans was
ever
going to get
say
wiped
it
off.
like that.
I think New Orleans was going to get wiped off the map first anyway. So
one way or the other, they
Well-
seem determined.
Well, no, it's
well, it's built
two
below
of
the
the
water, isn't it?
two of the first climate refugees in the United States were Native American nations. One of them was further north. It was in Alaska because of the melting of the polar ice caps, because they couldn't sustain themselves on the subsistence hunting that they've traditionally done. And the other ones have been in the river parishes. The river parishes in New Orleans are just disappearing because prior to like colonization and the subsequent people coming into Louisiana ended up stripping the mangrove trees. And there has been a program by LSU, Tulane, and it was LSU and Tulane that have been replanting the mangroves, but it's not fast enough. Mangroves take decades to root, and they ripped them all up in 10 years, and it's going to take 50 to 60 for them to be able to go and actually be to the point where they can actually sustain and protect the barrier waters and the brackish areas and the bayous and the canals.
Mm.
Yeah, there's not enough time.
Yeah. Question number 7, and I'll recommend people look at. There's videos of island nation called Tuvalu. Like half the day that their airport is underwater, and other nations like Kiribati and Palau and places like that are sinking rapidly. Maldives, same thing, they're sinking. Question
Same
number
with
5.
Venice.
Yeah. Question number 7. What does Memorial Day honor in the United States? U.S. presidents, first responders, fallen service members, or American workers? And this one's easy.
Fallen service members, unless you're a Democrat, in which case the president says not for you.
Not for you. Yeah. Yep. Correct. May 25 was Memorial Day, honoring American soldiers who died serving countries in war. It was observed annually in the United States on the last Monday in May. I can't believe it's June already. Happy Pride Month to all those who celebrate, which I'm one of the people that celebrate Pride, because
That's tomorrow.
we should celebrate. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Question number 8. Which continent is experiencing an unusually early and extreme heat wave? Europe, Asia, South America, or Australia?
Here, buddy.
Everywhere.
True. Yeah. I don't
All
know.
of the above.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume this is Europe.
I think Europe.
I don't know. Brandy.
Help!
Europe.
Brandy
Yeah,
says Europe. I could play some music from Europe, but no.
Brandy is the phone and friend for everything.
Question,
She is.
temperature
Thank
records
you.
are being smashed across Europe as parts of the continent swelter in the heat wave that is bringing extreme temperatures alarmingly early this year.
Agreed.
I mean, I see Britain complain about their heat wave, and it's like the outside temperature is 79 or something like that. I'm like,
Those bitches.
yeah, why don't you spend a summer in Georgia? or Tennessee.
Ooh. Yeah.
Or Tennessee, yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Question.
Louisiana.
Well,
Louisiana.
but you know,
It's
it's like
muggy.
if you've ever been up to New England, and most of the houses there do not have air conditioning, which I think is a
Right.
crime against humanity.
Mhm.
To have any structure without air conditioning. But yeah, most of Europe does not have central air. They may have like
No.
room units and things like that, but like central air is for buildings that were built in the 1600s. They weren't making ductwork for central air. So
And you'd think they'd change that because of a shocking number of people that die from it every year.
oh yeah, every year
Well, what
there's like a heat wave in Europe, and it's like
Mhm.
85 degrees, but there are people dropping in the hundreds. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. I think they'd fix that.
Yeah. Question number 9. Which luxury automaker recently unveiled its first electric car? Lamborghini, Bentley, Porsche, or Ferrari? I don't know about this one
Ooh.
either.
I feel like I heard
I don't.
Lamborghini earlier in the week.
Yeah.
It was either
didn't-
Oh,
I heard
yeah.
either Lamborghini or Porsche.
I heard Lamborghini
I
because
felt like
the
Porsche
stock
already
dropped.
had
Oh, maybe that's why I heard about Lamborghini. The closest I've ever been to one was a poster on my brother's room when we were growing up. So,
I'm gonna
I
be the odd one
I
and
could
say
be wrong.
Bentley.
Oh,
oh, Brandy says
Ferrari.
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 Okay.
All right, let's do Ferrari. Correct.
Well,
Ferrari
yeah.
unveiled its first electric car, and it comes with a what? $640,000 price tag
So for the price of a home, you can get a car instead.
for the price of a big ass home. A big ass home. And then like
Oh,
this and
you
a
could get a
starter
Well,
home.
teeny
depending
weeny
on where
little
you
car.
live.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
I mean, if you're in Northern Virginia or Fairfax, that's a starter home.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we built in because I lived in DC for a while or in Arlington for a while, and little Levittown type homes were going for north of $1 million. We moved out to West Virginia because I was tired of making money but never having any money. But yeah, the price tags even on the other side of the river in Hagerstown and Frederick, Maryland, are ridiculous. And if a recommendation for you to watch, there's a guy on TikTok who does um, Canadian real estate versus literal European castles, and he shows like these squalid homes in like Toronto and Vancouver, and how much they charge for these homes, and then he goes, "Now let's see what you could get for get what kind of castle you get in Europe you can get for the same amount of money." And it's like these palatial estates, and everything's working and beautiful. Those are pretty funny, and it's shocking to see how much Canadian real
Oh,
estate is. Question number 10. Which basketball team reached its first NBA finals since 1999? As the designated sports guy, I'll answer this one. But the choices are Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors, or the New York Knicks. Since Dan's not here with me, it is the New York Knicks.
This one
Yes.
I actually knew because I am in New York
Well,
and
that's right, you're in New
everybody
York.
has been celebrating. Everybody
Yeah.
has been celebrating.
I'm more focused on the Stanley Cup Finals, Carolina versus Vegas, that's starting this week. Sadly, my Sabres didn't quite make it, but that's the way it happens. So, 10 out of 10. Yeah, we got the 10 out of 10 this week. Way to go.
Brandy, do a happy dance.
Brandy, thank you. Brandy got the Knicks.
We hope you feel better.
Yeah, she's recovering nicely.
Good.
But she lost her pup this week.
Oh.
And it's super tough, and well, thinking about you, Brandy. Hope everything is going well for you, and insinuate your other dog that I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably butchering that, but hopefully y'all are adjusting okay. I know that's always a tough thing. So I love my audience. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Give us a like, share, subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on. Share this out to anybody who has questions about data centers and what the impacts are. Getting the word out there. If you've got friends in Tennessee, you got friends in West Virginia, or anybody who's dealing with data centers, share this with them so that they see what's going on. People are organizing to fight back against what's going on. in our communities. So,
We're
Kai,
gonna have to save our damn selves, y'all. We're gonna have to
yeah,
save our damn selves. That's what this means.
Kinuit. Okay, thank you, Brandy. Uh, but yeah, Kai, Lilia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
We'll
having me.
uh, we hope
Mhm.
everything works out for you, and you're able to get the moratorium passed, and we get some actually hard data on what these places do to our local community, so that we can make an informed decision on what we want in our communities. So,
Absolutely.
all right,
Thanks
well,
for
thank you
having
so
us.
much, and we will talk to you all next week on the Political Deep Dive. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.